On the crowded streets of Manila, 12-year-old June sang for coins every evening. His voice rose above the noise of jeepneys and vendors, soft but full of feeling. With every note, he dreamed of a better life. One day, as he sang near a lamp post, his eyes caught a torn poster fluttering in the wind, Star of Tomorrow editions, open to all. His heart raced. Maybe, just maybe, this was his chance. The next morning, barefoot and clutching his battered guitar, June joined the long line outside the audition hall. Surrounded by contestants in shiny clothes, he felt small and out of place. A guard eyed him doubtfully, but an organizer nodded, letting him through. When his name was called, June stepped onto the brightly lit stage, trembling under the judge's gaze. The microphone crackled as he began. At first, the audience murmured, but soon, his voice filled the room, clear, emotional, and hauntingly beautiful. He sang a Filipino ballad about hope, loss, and home. The lyrics told the story of every child who dared to dream beyond hardship. By the final note, tears streamed down the faces of judges and spectators alike. Then, in a moment of pure emotion, one judge stood up and slammed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti poured from above as June covered his face, overcome with joy. The crowd rose in applause, the judges rushed to embrace him. Weeks later, June returned to the same streets, but this time, people recognized him. Children gathered around as he sang, their laughter echoing. The world had changed, yet his heart remained humble. As the sun set, his voice carried softly through the air. Weeks after his breathtaking audition, June's life began to change. News of his performance spread like wildfire across social media. Millions watched the video of the barefoot boy who sang from the heart. Invitations poured in from television shows, and strangers donated clothes, food, and even a small home for him and his grandmother. For the first time, June slept in a real bed, his guitar safely beside him. But fame was not easy. At rehearsals for the next round, June struggled with stage fright. Surrounded by professionals and vocal coaches, he felt lost. "Maybe I don't belong here," he whispered one night. His coach, seeing his worry, knelt beside him and said, "You belong anywhere your heart takes you, June. Don't forget where your voice comes from." Those words stayed with him. When the semi-finals arrived, June walked onto the grand stage, this time wearing clean clothes and shoes donated by fans. The lights were blinding, but he remembered the streets where he once sang. Closing his eyes, he poured every memory, every tear, every dream into his song. The audience held its breath, and when he finished, the crowd erupted into cheers once more. After the show, June didn't rush to the cameras. Instead, he went home to his grandmother, handing her the flowers he received. She hugged him tightly and whispered, "You've already won, my child." June looked out at the city lights from their new home. He realized success wasn't about fame or money, it was about using his voice to inspire others like him. Smiling, he picked up his guitar and began to sing again, this time not for coins, but for hope. The night of the grand finals arrived. The arena sparkled with lights, and thousands filled the seats. Cameras flashed as the host announced, "Please welcome June." The crowd roared. Standing center stage, June took a deep breath. He wasn't the street boy begging for coins anymore, he was a symbol of every Filipino child who dreamed, even when the world seemed too hard. He began his final song, an original piece titled, Bahayang Pangarap, House of Dreams. The melody started softly, echoing the rhythm of rain on rooftops. His voice, fragile yet powerful, carried words of hope, about rising above poverty, about love, about never giving up. On the big screen behind him, images of children from the streets appeared, their faces smiling through hardship. The audience wept. Even the judges couldn't hold back their tears. As June sang the final line, Kahit maharap, may liwanag pa rin sa puso, even in hardship, there is still light in the heart, the entire arena rose to its feet. The applause was deafening. Confetti fell once again, golden and bright. June dropped to his knees, crying and laughing at the same time. When the results were announced, June was declared the winner. But for him, victory wasn't about trophies. He dedicated his performance to every child who sang on the streets, who dreamed under the same sky. Months later, June used his prize money to build a music school for underprivileged kids. Its sign read, "Home of Dreams, where every voice matters." On opening day, June sang with his students, their voices blending beautifully. As the sun set behind them, his heart was full. He had found his true stage, not of fame, but of purpose. Months had passed since June opened his music school for underprivileged children, Home of Dreams. Every morning, laughter and singing filled the air as children strummed guitars, tapped drums, and practiced songs of hope. June, now a teenager, had become both teacher and mentor. He never forgot the dusty streets where his journey began, and he made sure his students knew that dreams could grow even from the toughest soil. One afternoon, a shy boy named Paulo walked into the school. He reminded June of himself, barefoot, holding a broken ukulele. "I want to sing," Paulo whispered. June smiled warmly. "Then sing, no matter who listens." Paulo's trembling voice soon filled the room, and June felt tears in his eyes. It was like watching his own past return, but this time with a brighter beginning. Yet fame still followed June. Media interviews, sponsorships, and show invitations flooded in. Some people tried to control his image, pushing him to become a celebrity instead of a teacher. For a while, June felt torn, between fame and the simple joy of helping others. One night, he returned to the same street corner where he once sang for coins. The lights of the city shimmered around him. Closing his eyes, he began to sing softly, his voice as pure as it was years ago. A small crowd gathered, not fans, but ordinary people who simply wanted to listen. As he finished, a little girl handed him a paper star and said, "Kuya June, thank you for making us believe." June smiled, holding the star to his heart. He realized then that true success wasn't about applause, it was about lighting hope in others. Years passed, and June's name became a legend, not just as the boy who won a talent show, but as the man who changed lives through music. Home of Dreams had grown from a small classroom into a thriving foundation with branches across the Philippines. Thousands of children who once sang on the streets were now learning instruments, writing songs, and finding confidence in their voices. June, now in his 20s, preferred to stay out of the spotlight. He turned down celebrity contracts, focusing instead on composing songs that spoke of courage, love, and hope. One of his most famous songs, Liwanag ng Puso, Light of the Heart, became an anthem for Filipino youth. It was played at schools, charity events, and even on national holidays. One day, June received an invitation to perform at the anniversary of the talent show where his journey began. Standing backstage, he felt the same nerves he did as a 12-year-old boy. When the host introduced him, the audience erupted in cheers. But instead of singing alone, June stepped aside, and his students joined him on stage, their voices blending into one powerful harmony. As they sang, a montage of June's life played on the giant screen, the streets, the golden buzzer moment, the school, the children smiling. Tears filled his eyes. The final note echoed through the hall, and the crowd rose in thunderous applause. After the show, June looked out at the sea of faces, children, families, and dreamers. He smiled and said softly, "Dreams don't end when you wake up. They begin when you share them." The lights dimmed, and June's voice lingered, a song that would never fade.